Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving into the future of work in the age of AI.
Sounds pretty futuristic.
It does. And we've got a really interesting mix of sources to help us wrap our heads around it.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
We've got academic papers, some policy reports, even some opinion pieces, just to get a feel for all the different angles.
Cool. Cool.
And these are from economists, futurists, tech experts.
So like a real blend of perspectives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So buckle up, because we're going to unpack how robots and algorithms, all that jazz, might reshape the world of work. Pretty crazy to think about, right?
Yeah, no kidding. It's like, what even is a job anymore when you bring AI into the mix?
Right. I mean, it feels almost like we're on the brink of like a new industrial revolution,
Totally. But before we, go totally sci-fi in this whole thing,
Yeah.
let's break down this technological unemployment thing.
The classic robots are going to take our jobs scenario.
Right. And this isn't a new idea, is it? I mean, this has been predicted for like, what, decades?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like every time there's a big technological leap, someone's out there saying, the robots are coming.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny, the sources actually mentioned this really interesting historical example back in 1964.
Oh, wow. Way back.
Yeah. There was this group called, get this, the Ad Hoc Committee on the Triple Revolution.
That's a mouthful.
Right. And they basically warned President Johnson, like, hey, automation's going to cause massive unemployment. Watch out.
No way. They were saying that back then.
Yeah. And they even suggested a universal basic income as a solution.
Wow. A universal basic income in the 60s. That's wild. So, were they right? Like, did robots take over the world?
Well, not exactly. I mean, the world's still here.
Uh-huh. So true.
But, automation definitely led to some job losses, especially in manufacturing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Factories getting more automated and all that.
But then, the economy adapted and new jobs popped up in other areas like the service industry.
Okay, so things kind of balanced out in the end.
Yeah, more or less. But that leads us to the big question, right? Is this time different? Is AI like a total game changer?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question. I mean, technology is always changing. But is AI something totally different?
A lot of the sources seem to think so. What sets AI apart is like its potential to automate so many different tasks.
Ah, I see. So it's not just manual labor this time.
Exactly. Even jobs that require, thinking, cognitive skills, those are on the table now. Like there's this report from the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change.
Okay.
And they estimate that AI could automate almost 25% of the tasks done by workers in the UK private sector.
Whoa, 25%? That's a huge chunk of jobs.
Yeah, it is. And one of the sources, an opinion piece from Forbes, it uses this term disintermediation.
Disinter what now? That's a mouthful.
Haha, I know, right? But it basically means technology, especially these AI-powered platforms, are cutting out the middleman in a lot of industries.
Oh, I see. So like instead of going through a travel agent, you just book everything online?
Exactly. Or think about education, right? There are all these online platforms popping up.
Yeah, totally. So those platforms are kind of taking over some of the roles that teachers used to fill.
Yeah. And the thing is, these platforms can often do these tasks, more efficiently and cheaper.
Okay, now I'm starting to see how AI could really disrupt things. There's this McKinsey Global Institute report that talks about this. It says AI-powered software is already automating all those routine tasks, especially in industries that deal with tons of data.
Right, like finance and law. Those are prime targets for AI.
And the report says it's even impacting white-collar jobs, which is kind of surprising. I thought those are supposed to be safe.
Yeah, and it's not just about the fancy white-collar jobs either.
Oh.
The sources actually share some, real stories about people's anxieties. Like, there are truck drivers who are, really worried about self-driving trucks taking over their jobs.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a huge shift in that industry.
Right. I mean, it's tough to hear all this and not just be like, robots are going to steal all our jobs.
It's easy to get caught up in all the doom and gloom.
Yeah.
Right. But aren't there some, potential upsides to all of this? Could AI actually, be good for workers in some ways?
Now that's where things get interesting. Yeah, a lot of the sources talk about that, even though AI might cause some disruptions, it could also have some pretty big benefits.
Right, right. I guess it's not all doom and gloom. Okay, so for instance, how could AI actually be a good thing for workers?
Well, one area where AI could have a really positive impact is healthcare.
Oh, interesting. So like how?
Well, think about it. Imagine AI-powered diagnostic tools, tools that could detect diseases way earlier.
Oh, that'd be huge.
Right. And more accurately, too, or even think about personalized treatment plans.
Oh, wow. Like tailored to your specific needs.
Exactly. Like based on your genes and everything, and these advancements, they could lead to a healthier workforce.
Yeah, people would be healthier and could work longer.
Exactly. And have longer, more productive careers, too.
That all sounds amazing, but it also kind of makes me wonder, like, if AI can do all this incredible stuff, will there even be any jobs left for us humans?
That's the big question, isn't it? It's like, what happens to us in this super-powered AI world?
Right. Like, do we all just become obsolete?
Well, a lot of the sources say that while AI will definitely automate some jobs, the ones that exist now, it'll also create new opportunities.
Opportunities.
Yeah, things we can't even imagine yet. It's kind of exciting, actually. Like, there's this report from the McKinsey Global Institute,
Okay.
and they think that almost 97 million new roles could pop up globally by 2025.
Whoa, 97 million.
Yeah.
That's a ton of new jobs.
Yeah, it is. It's because of how humans and machines will be working together, dividing the labor.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so what kind of jobs are we talking about here? Like, what will these new roles be?
It's hard to say for sure, but the sources point to a few key areas.
Okay.
First, there'll be a huge need for people who can, develop, maintain, and improve AI systems,
So like the people who build and take care of the robots.
Exactly, and that includes roles like AI engineers, data scientists,
Yeah.
machine learning specialists, all that.
So basically learning to code is going to be like the most important skill ever.
It'll definitely be valuable, but it's not just about coding,
Mhm.
It's about understanding how these AI systems work, how to interpret the data they spit out, even being able to train AI to do specific tasks.
So it's more about like learning to work with AI rather than being replaced by it.
Exactly. It's like becoming an AI whisperer.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So there's this report from the Tony Blair Institute, and it suggests that companies should be encouraged to implement AI training assistants.
Interesting.
Yeah, so these AI systems would work alongside human employees, especially those in lower skilled roles.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, to help them become more productive and efficient.
That's a really cool idea, actually, using AI to help people get better at their jobs.
Right. It's like having a robot mentor or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've got the AI specialists, some people building and maintaining the systems, and then we've got people working alongside AI, like being augmented by it.
Right.
What other kinds of jobs might pop up in this AI future?
The sources talk about this growing need for people with human-to-human skills.
Human-to-human skills. So, like, what does that even mean?
Well, it's all the stuff that's hard for AI to replicate,
Oh, okay, so like what specifically?
Things like empathy, communication, creativity, critical thinking, complex problem solving, all that good stuff.
It kind of sounds like we're going back to the basics in a way, those soft skills that often get overlooked.
Yeah, exactly. And in a world run by AI, those human-centered skills will be even more important.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Think about jobs that need a lot of emotional intelligence.
Like therapists.
Yeah, therapists, social workers, even teachers.
Oh, yeah. Those jobs definitely need that human touch.
Right. AI might be able to do some parts of those jobs, but it can't replace the human connection.
So it's not just about like having technical skills. It's about having those uniquely human qualities that AI just can't replicate.
Exactly. You got to have that human spark.
And I guess there are still jobs that need like really skilled hands or creativity or specialized knowledge,
Sure.
Things that are tough to automate,
Totally.
like skilled trades, artisans, maybe some healthcare professionals who need to actually physically interact with patients.
Yeah, all those jobs where you can't just have a robot do it.
Ugh. Okay, this is all really interesting, but it still seems like there's a lot of uncertainty. How can we actually prepare for a future where the job market is like constantly changing? It seems kind of overwhelming.
One of the big themes in all these sources is lifelong learning.
Lifelong learning.
Yeah, basically we need to be ready to adapt, reskill, maybe even change careers multiple times throughout our lives.
Oof, that sounds intense, like going back to school over and over again.
It can be, but it's also exciting. It keeps things fresh.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Do the sources offer any advice on how to actually do this lifelong learning thing, like how to make sure we're ready for all these changes?
They do. They talk a lot about the need for strong education and training programs.
So like more schools, more courses.
Yeah, but not just traditional stuff, online courses, vocational training programs, all sorts of options.
So it's about having lots of different ways for people to learn new skills.
Exactly. And it's also about government policies and investments in education and training.
Oh, right. So like making sure these programs are accessible and affordable.
Right. And some sources even talk about these lifelong learning accounts.
What are those?
They're basically accounts that give people money to invest in their own education and training.
Oh, wow. So like instead of just having a retirement account, you'd have a learning account.
Exactly. It would help people stay competitive in the job market.
That's a pretty cool idea.
Hmm.
What other policy solutions are people talking about?
Well, remember universal basic income, or UBI?
Yeah, the thing the committee suggested back in the 60s.
Exactly. Well, it's actually being seriously considered as a way to deal with job displacement from AI.
Oh, wow. So it's not just a crazy idea anymore.
Nope, it's a hot topic.
Yep.
People who support UBI say it could provide a safety net for people who lose their jobs to automation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it could even free people up to, pursue their passions and contribute to society in new ways.
So instead of being stuck in a job they hate, people could follow their dreams.
Exactly. But of course, there are arguments against UBI too.
Oh, yeah. What are those? What do the sources say about the downsides?
Well, some people are worried about how much it would cost,
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a lot of money to just give to everyone.
Right, and some people worry that it might discourage people from working.
Oh, I see. So if people are getting money for free, they might not be motivated to get a job.
That's the concern, and that could lead to lower productivity and slower economic growth.
Yeah, that's a tough one. It sounds like a really complex issue.
It is. The sources basically say there's no one perfect solution,
So it's not like a magic bullet,
Nope. It's going to take a mix of different policies.
like investing in education retraining programs, maybe even UBI?
Exactly. It'll take a lot of different approaches to make this transition to an AI-driven economy work for everyone.
And I guess we need to be having these conversations now, before it's too late.
Yeah, for sure. We need to be thinking critically about how we want to shape the future.
It's like we're at a crossroads right now.
Totally. And one of the sources, an article from Less Wrong, makes this really thought-provoking point.
Okay, what's that?
It says that in a world where AI can do most things better than us, the people with resources will be able to buy whatever they want, even better than they can now.
That's kind of scary, actually. It's like the rich get richer.
Yeah, and makes it even more important to make sure the benefits of AI are shared fairly.
Right. We need to make sure AI doesn't just make inequality worse.
Exactly. And that's why these discussions about UBI, about sharing wealth more equally, about investing in education and training are so important.
It's like we need to be proactive, not just react to whatever happens.
We need to be in the driver's seat.
Yeah, exactly. We need to be shaping this future, not just letting it happen to us.
And that means thinking about the big picture, understanding how all these different challenges and opportunities are connected and coming up with solutions that are both innovative and fair.
That sounds like a huge task.
It is, but we can't ignore it. This is the future of work we're talking about, It's the future of our lives.
That's like the biggest question facing humanity right now.
And ultimately, the future of our society, too.
It's easy to get caught up in all the fear and uncertainty around AI,
Totally.
But there's also something kind of exciting about the possibilities.
There is. One of the sources uses this term dream time.
Dream time.
Yeah, it's about how AI could create space for us to pursue the things we're really passionate about,
Yeah.
The things we do even if we didn't have to work for money.
Oh, that's beautiful, actually. So instead of being scared of AI, we could see it as a chance to, redefine what work means.
Exactly. And to create a future where work is about more than just paying the bills.
A future where it's about pursuing our passions and making the world a better place.
That's the dream, isn't it?
It is. Okay, so we've talked about the potential downsides of AI, the potential benefits, and some of the ideas people have for how to handle all of this.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
But I think it's important to remember that this is just the beginning of the conversation.
This is just the tip of the iceberg.
And that's where you, our listener, come in.
We want to hear from you.
So we want to hear what you think about all this. What are your thoughts on the future of work in the age of AI? Are you excited about the possibilities?
Or are you a little freaked out by all the changes?
Yeah, I mean, going through all these sources have really hit me that there's no, one right answer,
It's not like a simple equation.
Exactly. The future of work, it's going to be shaped by all the choices we make, both as individuals and as a society.
That's such a key point. It's not like some predetermined destiny.
Right.
We're actually creating it right now with every decision we make.
Whoa, that's kind of deep. So it's even more important to talk about this stuff and really think about what kind of future we want.
Absolutely. It's not just about letting things happen. It's about actively shaping them.
I think that's one of the biggest takeaways from this whole deep dive, right?
Totally.
AI is a powerful tool.
Right.
But like any tool, It depends on how we use it
Exactly. It's not good or bad in itself. It's all about how we wield it, you know?
and how it impacts our lives, and not just our jobs, but like everything.
All those sources we looked at, they had so many different takes, some optimistic, some kind of doom and gloom,
Yeah, the whole spectrum.
but they all kept coming back to this one idea: human agency.
Oh, interesting. So, like, we're not just along for the ride, we're actually in control.
Exactly. We have the power to decide what this AI revolution looks like.
That's empowering. There's this one source from Less Wrong that argues that in a world where AI can do almost everything, what'll really matter are the things AI can't do.
Right. All those uniquely human skills.
Yeah, like empathy, creativity, problem solving, all that.
Which brings us back to dream time, remember?
Oh yeah, the idea that AI could free us up to do the things we actually love.
Exactly. If it can take care of all the boring stuff, the mundane tasks, then we've got all this space to pursue our passions.
So instead of being afraid of AI, we could see it as a chance to, like, reinvent work.
Totally. Imagine a world where work isn't just about earning a living, but about making a difference, about doing what truly lights you up.
That's a beautiful thought.
It is. And
Yeah.
it's not just some utopian fantasy. It's a real possibility if we make the right choices.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with this question. What are your dreams? Like, if you had all the time and resources, what would you do?
What are those things you do even if you didn't have to work for money?
What if AI could help you achieve those dreams? That's something to think about. The future of work is in our hands, and it's up to all of us to make it a future where everyone can thrive, pursue their passions, and make the world a better place.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening.